Stuff I Learned Yesterday, episode 665, Monday Mailbag. Welcome to Stuff I Learned Yesterday. My name is Daryl Darnell. The longest officially recognized mail delivery delay is 138 years from a letter posted in 1876 and delivered in 2014. And I believe that if you aren't learning, you aren't living. Well, that's quite a story, isn't it? It seems unbelievable. You've seen the delivery in the Back to the Future where Marty shows up and is delivered the letter from Doc from when he went back in the 1800s, but that's fictional, right? Well, this is a real story. Here's an excerpt from a 2015 blog from cardsdirect.com. It says, one woman recently received a letter posted over a century ago, 138 years to be exact. According to the Inquisitor, a piece of mail was sent on January 27th, 1877, and forgive my pronunciation here. It came from Saint-du-Nord in northern France and arrived in mid-June 2015, or maybe 2014. I saw contradictory things here, but either way, it arrived in Trélon, France. Now here's the kicker. The letter only had to travel a mere 6 miles to make its destination, and it was apparently marked ship high speed. Somehow it got lost in the chaos of letters at the time, leading to this phenomenal story. And again, forgive my pronunciation here. Teresa Paila, 80 years old, is the great-granddaughter of the original recipient, and she received the letter from a postal worker earlier this month. And again, this blog is from 2015. Both the postal worker and Paila were astounded by the letter's arrival. Still completely legible, the message referred to shipping instructions for an order of yarn from Paila's great-grandfather's spinning mill. What an incredible story. I love email, although emails get lost as well, and those just seem to get lost in the total abyss. So I don't know if email is really that much better than snail mail or not. But I do know that I love the Monday mailbags, and we have one contribution in the mailbag today, and it comes from Geoff. And here it is.
I'm Geoff Gentry, X-Force 11, and this is Stuff I Learned Yesterday. This feedback was prompted by 2 podcast episodes. First, SILY episode 647. In that episode, Daryl talked about sympathy, seeing, and helping others. And in the episode, he rephrased Descartes' famous line of I think, therefore I am, to I am thought of, therefore I am. That phrase and the entire episode really touched my heart and my mind. The second episode was the Fringe Podcast Rewatch, Season 4, Episode 7, Wallflower. That episode dealt with a man going to extremes in order to be seen. This has been a hard year for me. Here's a little background. I've never been married, still looking for that special lady, and I have no kids. I'm an only child and I have aging parents. I was dealing with stress because I felt alone. I felt like people didn't truly see me because my situation was so different from their own and they didn't know how to help. My parents have had some health struggles this year. That combined with a stressful year at the school I work for have made things hard. It all accumulated at Easter. I visited Mom and Dad and didn't feel well all weekend. I took that Monday off. And when I went into work on Tuesday, I still did not feel good. I went to the school nurse and she told me to go to the hospital because my blood pressure was very high. Thankfully, I have a guy in my church who is like a brother to me. He works in the same town I do. Nathan was able to take me to the ER. I got checked out, and other than my blood pressure, I was fine. I got on some medication and met with my primary care provider. The Lord showed me through this process that my blood pressure was one of the symptoms of a bigger problem. My diet was not good, and I was dealing with things poorly and getting stressed out. Thankfully, through his guidance and wisdom from others, I took some steps. I got on a meal delivery plan that's helping me eat better. I have set up long-term care insurance to provide for the care I need down the road. I have worked with a lawyer to set up my will, power of attorney, and medical power of attorney. I have talked with my parents and others about what I'm feeling and going through. One such group is my Iron Man group. This is a group of godly men that meet regularly and pray for each other weekly, and we help each other out as needed. It is such a tremendous blessing. I'm also on some medication to help with anxiety. It is helping to put that buffer back so I don't get stressed out as quickly. Yes, I am a little unique being single, having no kids and no siblings. Yes, that stressed me out because I had no one to go to for advice who had gone through my exact situation before I did. But I've realized that my church can use this as an opportunity to serve better and serve people like me down the road. But most of all, I've learned that I can be that person for others in the future. So what have I learned? God wants us to trust Him and find our peace in Him, but we need to join Him in the work. He calls us to be good stewards of our bodies, our minds, our emotion, our spirit, and our time. It is okay to ask for and receive help. It is good to talk and or get therapy and take medication as needed. Most of all, it is not all on us. God designed us to live in community and support each other. Don't deny others the blessings of helping and serving by being selfish. This is Geoff, and this has been Stuff I Learned Yesterday.
I mean, excellent, Geoff. This is one of those where I feel like I'm inadequate in responding to all of the wisdom that you shared in this episode. What a tough deal to be in your situation. It reminded me in some ways of like single parents in that your life is hard when we have it with others. And when you find yourself single for one reason or another, it doesn't make it easier. It makes it hard. Different challenges and different difficulties that we go through. So good on you for being brave enough to go to the nurse and then go to the hospital and then make life changes based on what you found out. As guys, that's not easy for us. You know, we're macho or I don't know, whatever adjective you want to throw in there. We don't like going to doctors generally. We don't like asking for help generally and things like that. And it can often be to our detriment. So very wise and smart for you and humble for you to go and get and seek help and just make sure everything's okay. Because how many times we heard those stories where something was going on and it didn't go and, something terrible happened. So, man, hats off to you for being willing to do that. I love that you referenced the Descartes episode and the Wallflower episode from Fringe. Those were two episodes that were kind of hitting me in some different ways as well. I think I mentioned that on the Fringe podcast as well. That Descartes episode, I've gotten a few comments back from people on that one. And, that's one of those that when I get comments like that, I put them in my love bank, if you will, because sometimes this podcast is hard and I don't know if I'm making a difference or if my messages are impacting people. So when I hear things like that, I always make a note of them and they keep me going. They're my fuel. So I appreciate that very much. And mostly I'm grateful that the content of the episode made an impact in your life. A couple of the things you said really resonated with me. You said that no one is going through your exact situation. And I've probably got some episodes coming out next year, I think, on this. I'm still kind of working through them mentally to figure out how to put them all together. But I've been there so much. Like we went through some of the hardest parenting years without anybody in our lives, except our parents, which we were grateful for, to really help us. I'm in two different masterminds, but in one of them, only one has children, and it's a son, and he's younger, quite a bit younger than my kids. In my other mastermind, they all have kids, but they're all younger than I am, or our kids. And so I didn't have anyone who was going through that stage of parenting that we were in when our kids were in middle school and some of those high school and some of those very difficult stages. We weren't plugged into a church at that time. The church we were going to initially, ours were the only kids there. And then that church disbanded and we went to a different church and we weren't plugged in. And we felt isolated, really. It was very difficult for us through those. And so more recently, I've been getting plugged in. We've been going to church steadily, the same church for several years now, but just kind of sitting in the pews, not really getting involved until earlier this year. I started getting involved with the tech team and I realized how much I'd missed it. That sense of community. I had my mastermind groups and I had some other things going on. Here I'm sharing the whole episode, sorry. But I realized that wasn't enough. There was that personal connection that you get through church. And that's not the only reason. Being involved with personal connections isn't the only reason to go to church, but it's a great benefit from going to church. And so I'm glad to hear you say that too. And had we done that, had we got involved sooner, we probably wouldn't have found ourselves on an island quite as much as we did. But it was difficult, certainly going through that. So I can sympathize with you being in this place where you felt like you have all these connections in your life, but no one that's quite where you're at and not really sure where to go to for help. And that's an isolating feeling and a difficult place to be in. And so I'm sorry you found yourself in that position. It's not enviable for sure, but you've made so many great choices. So much wisdom is in what you shared today, and seeking help. Therapy is okay. Yeah. Medication is okay. Yeah. And we need to hear that more as humans and certainly as guys. So great stuff today, Geoff. Thank you for sharing that, and hope that you'll call in and share some more wisdom in the future. Well, that's it. That's the mailbag this month. Thanks to Geoff for his contribution. And of course, that means I want you to be a part of the next Monday Mailbag coming up on December 29th. And of course, Monday Mailbag is your opportunity to share what you've learned so that other listeners and I can learn from you. It can be a message as short as 30 seconds. It can be several minutes long. It doesn't matter, just as long as it's something that will benefit others. You can also send in questions or responses to my SILY episodes, and I'll respond to them via Monday Mailbag episodes. And so you can participate in Monday Mailbags by visiting the Golden Spiral Media listener feedback page at goldenspiralmedia.com/feedback, or send me an email at feedback@goldenspiralmedia.com. I'm Daryl Darnell, and this has been Stuff I Learned Yesterday.